song for you tonight. My brother Dick wrote, and I think that you'll agree with me that it's gonna be the next big thing. Take it away, Dick. Big thing.
Thank you very much. I'm Les, and I'm Vic, and we're the Shenanigan Brothers, and we're doing time for a crime we did not commit. But I know what you're thinking. Everybody in jail says they're innocent, but we're not saying that. We're guilty, all right. Yeah!
Yes, we're very guilty. We're extremely guilty. However, we dispute whether what we did was actually a crime. And we are hoping there'd be someone out there among you tonight who would understand.
So, we're going to throw ourselves on the theater-going public.
Oh, no, Les, no. We're going to throw ourselves on the mercy of the theater-going public. That's two completely different things all.
Now, that would have been a major wonder. I was getting ready to throw myself on the couple in the front row
That
here.
would have been a real theatrical profile. However, you're probably asking yourself, gee, they certainly look harmless enough. I wonder why they're doing time.
What was this horrible crime? What was this terrible spree? What was this monumental boo-boo?
What was this hideous transgression which caused the world to shake on its axis like a shepherd boy with wolves' orders to see?
We had an idea. Or more to the point, my brother Vic had an idea, and I kind of went along for the ride.
Yes, and a rather bumpy ride it turned out to be. But, you know, I couldn't have had the idea if it hadn't been for you. It was one of those funny, vague, kind of unformed ideas that if even the slightest part of this idea had been different, the whole thing would have come up.
Exactly.
It was like, okay, it came to me in the middle of the night one night, like this voice that spoke out of the darkness, out of the closet, from under the bed, and it said to me, "Psst, hey, Shenanigan brothers, go ye on an adventure in search of the next big thing."
So this is how the story happened.
Yes. It was a cool night. It was very, very cool and breezy. It was one of those nights where your brain seems to have no walls, so everything just sort of drifts through.
Yeah, the beauty of this idea was in its very vagueness.
Really, never has such a vague, unformed, nebulous idea had so strong an impact on two such nebulous, unformed guys.
In the story of this idea, it's almost impossible to recreate because the events that took place, well, they didn't really take place and they didn't really take time. They just kind of happened like that.
That's right. See, what he's trying to tell you is that the story that we're about to relate to you is the story of a moment that happened. It's a story of a split second. It's a story of the amount of time it takes to have an idea. You know, and all the little mini explosions and reactions that happen to a person that has an idea that they think of as original. All that stuff that happens almost like that. That's what this story is about.
Yeah, it happens like this, but it almost takes like an hour to retell it. It's kind of like being in a car wreck.
Right, or meeting the Queen of England.
Or meeting Hulk Hogan.
Or any other famous person. It only takes a second to meet them, Hello, Hulk. How are you? Good to see you. But you can talk about it forever.
That's right. And the unique thing about this idea is it didn't happen, sequentially. It happened all at once, or virtually all at once. Which, there's not much difference between all at once and virtually all at once. And not many people can tell the difference except trained professionals.
Such as myself. So in keeping with this convoluted sense of time the story takes place in, that is, it doesn't have a past, a present, or a future, it doesn't have a beginning, a middle, or an end, we're going to do something here at the apparent beginning that you're supposed to do at the end. That is, we're going to bring out the rest of the cast and ask them to say hello to you. So please welcome the World's Not Really Coming to an End players. Yeah.
And tonight I'll be playing Thor and a psychiatrist assistant and a judge in a most unusual courtroom.
Hello, I'm William Bradford. I'll be playing the part of Bruno, Dr. Van Martine, and the Bailiff.
Good evening, I'm Cass Conrado, and tonight I'm playing the chief interrogator, a psychiatric assistant, and my favorite food is creamed canned corn. Enjoy the show.
Yes, they certainly are, and vivacious to boot. And so, please strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, for the theatrical ride of your lives. And
Excuse me for interrupting. I know it sounded really nice. But we left out two of the most important players in tonight's show.
We did.
Yes, we did.
Who might they?
Time and space.
That's right. Time and space. Time and space. The two most important characters in this story. Let's see. Who does Time play?
Time plays, well, now.
Oh, and then?
Then, yeah, later than.
And sometime?
Yeah, sometime later than then. And
oh, and that past blue perfect, the one where you say, I wish I could have, would have, could have, might have, could have known, and I wish I could have, could have, would have. Differently, if you told me.
Right. And you'll recognize that part when we get to
a lot of it. We could possibly get to that. Right. And who does space place? What is place play in this?
A psychiatrist.
Ah, right. Courtroom,
and a strange, nebulous, vague sort of
dreamland.
Yeah.
Dreamland, a place where anything is possible.
You should recognize that one too.
That's right. And another place.
Oh yeah, there was another place that it was like
hot.
Yeah, hot.
Humid.
Pipes in it, and they were condensation on
a little boxy room shaped like a box, and it had no windows.
No windows, right? And let's see, there
was a little table right in the middle of the room.
And it had some chairs.
Not unlike this table.
Actually, exactly like that.
In fact, this is the table. Oh, yeah, there were chairs. There were three chairs. And what else? Oh, there are these two guys. They're seated at this little table in this little room.
Snappy dressers.
Right. And they're kind of slumped over.
Yeah, it's pitch black. And suddenly a single light shattered the darkness.
Okay, let's go through it one more time. What is the next big thing?
Oh, the next big thing. Look, I am sick and tired of talking about the next big thing.
Listen, we told the guys upstairs what the next big thing is. We've already told you at least 100 times what the next big thing is.
No! You told the boys upstairs some cock and bull story, but you haven't told anybody what the next big thing is. We paid you to find it, and we want it now.
Oh, look here. Hold on.
It's right here.
How many times do we have to tell you?
Until you get it right.
Look here. It doesn't matter who you stand or where you look, because the irony in this situation is that it is right here.
This.
Yes.
This little thing.
Yes.
This teeny-weeny little thing.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. But let me double check. No. It's not next. It's not big. It's not even a thing. So why don't you quit jerking me around?
Look, nobody's jerking you around.
Oh, yes, you are.
That is exactly what you would say.
Of course it is. If it wasn't, I wouldn't say it.
That is exactly what you would say.
I say that's enough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, all right. Hold on. What is this, WrestleMania 3? What I don't understand is what makes you think that you would know the next big thing if you saw it.
Yeah.
So what if I don't know? I don't have to. I wasn't paid to know. But I'll tell you what I do know. I know a pack of lies when I see one, and that's what this is. Lies, nonsense, absolute nonsense. Look, you are not up on the 12th floor anymore, guys. You're not up there with those executives behind their big lacquer desks, you know, with that freshly groomed carpet they're too polite to walk on. You're in the boiler room now. Do you know what happens in the boiler room?
Boiling?
No. This is the guts of the organization. I can see I'm not getting through to you. All right, let me give one more breath. Get over here. We're showing something. Get over here. Look around you. Look all around you. Do you see all those beautiful pipes?
Yeah, pipes.
Where all the heat comes from. Those pipes are filled with steam and pressure. You know, once in a while we turn up the heat just a little too high. And that's when somewhere one of the pipes starts to sing. And that's when we turn up the heat even higher. And before you know it, all those pipes start to rattle and roar and sing. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to sing. We loosen lips here in the boiler room. Do you get my drift?
I think we're beginning to get your drift, yes. Would you excuse us for a second while we talk this over?
Did you hear what she said? Did you hear what she said? Did you hear what she said? They're getting ready to loosen our lips. If my lips were loosened, they'd fall off. What are we going to do? This whole thing is your idea. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Get a hold of yourself. That's exactly what they want. They want us to break down and crawl on our bellies like a couple of worms. Anyway, let's assess our situation logically. She doesn't believe the truth. Ergo, she'll probably believe a lie. A great, big, fat lie.
Yeah.
And I know just the kind of guy that can supply a great, big, fat lie. However, before we spring the lie, why don't we try an act of absolute, total, and utter desperation? You remember the time we owed Milton that $100 and he had us locked in the hotel room?
Yeah.
Remember what we did when the guy came by with the serving tray there? Yeah, you remember. Okay. You know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, my brother and I have been talking it over. I don't know why we've been so reluctant to just come right out and tell you everything we know, but you know how those things are. Maybe we just somehow just aren't communicating.
Hey, look over there! What there's an egg like that?
You really are a couple of comedians. You know, that was very funny.
Thanks.
Really. But I
like broken meat.
You know, I trusted you guys, but you showed me no respect. And I feel really badly about this because I was beginning to like you. But you leave me no choice. I'm going to have to turn you over to Thor and Bruno, which I have to say I think you'll find interesting. But I don't think you're going to enjoy it very much. Nobody ever does. Now, if you'll just excuse me, I'm going to have to put on these protective earmuffs. You see, it's an occupational hazard, but I just can't stand the sound of screaming and pleading. Your turn.
After you.
I live in a world of silence. What's that I hear? Could it be the sound of a human voice calling my name? Calling Thor. 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 No. Of course not. It was only the echoes of my own voice. It was only deja vu. My life is a desolate wasteland. My only companion, the bitter winds. Be my friend. Each night I return to a dark house, on a dark street, to a poorly written paperback, and a frozen dinner for one. I can't go on. I'm poised on a windy cliff. The wind rushes through my hair. The waves crash below. And the waves call to me. They say, come to us. We are your friends. The waves crash below and they call to me. And they say, come to us. And be lonely no more. Rescue me. Why won't you speak to me? Can't you see I'm drowning in your abyss of loneliness and
I'll take it from here, Thor. Yeah, great boy. I want you to take a look at these pictures. I want you to take a good, long look. You know who they are? One of my high school kids, that's who they are. They're probably sitting at home right now, wondering if Daddy's gonna bring home a paycheck this week. What do you give a tinker's damn about leaving behind a family? No. Probably don't even have a family, do you? Don't understand the stresses involved. Oh, Mary, there these prices. Bruno Jr. wants a pair of Air Jordans like all the other kids in the neighborhood. I've been promising him for months now. I bring him home one of them junior torture gifts. I just don't have the money. Oh, yeah. You comedians always rolling it, though. Fancy clothes, fast cars. Us guys in the torture game only get paid if we get results. There's my wife. Don't you touch that picture! My dear sainted wife. She never complains. She's worn that same cloth coat for the last 5 winters. I wish I could do better for her. And is my family going to get these things that they need? No! And why? Because you won't stop, that's why! How do you know what it's like? Like to bring you lunch, or you brought me some fancy bread? Haven't you ever martini? Okay, we'll talk! Yeah.
There really was no real beginning.
No,
beginning.
I think we could pick an arbitrary point in time and call that one. Right before, you remember when it was right before the middle.
There was something at the beginning.
Still having a little trouble with your memory, huh?
Actually, we're having a lot of.
I see. Well, perhaps this will refresh your memory. Mean anything to you?
Yeah, that's where it started. Get that?
That's the show. When we're doing the show,
That's when it all started. It's all the way back to me now.
Yeah, it was
We were doing that little show. What was that in that little town in California? What was it? Costa Mesa Vista Del Mar by the sea. Costa Mesa Vista Del Mar by the sea in the round theater. And it was right before opening night, right? And you were pacing. You were pacing back and forth on the stage, back and forth. Everybody crazy.
I was nervous.
And I was making a few last-minute changes in the script. And somebody said,
5 minutes. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Get backstage and get dressed.
Get some makeup on.
Take that table with you, too.
Come on. I knew if those guys had played those dives, eventually they hit the big time.
You got that right. In fact, tonight, right after the show, they have a very important meeting with Gino De Laurentiis. I must remind them.
I'll tell them.
You know something? I got a feeling. These guys are going to be the next big thing.
I think he's right about that, because now, ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. And won't you welcome with me from the shallow end of the gene pool, the Shenanigan brothers.
I'm Les, and we're the Shenanigan Brothers, and we're going over the hill. That's right, we're going over the hill. Of course, some people say we're already over the hill, but before we actually do go over the hill, we have something of importance for comedy fans like yourselves everywhere.
That's correct, we do. You know, as entertainers, we receive voluminous fan mail and lots of it. And what we like to do is we like to ripple through our voluminous fan mail looking for humorous return addresses. When we pick out those letters, reading those, we really don't have time to read all of them. And recently, we came across one of the most humorous return addresses we'd ever seen. But that wasn't the interesting thing. The interesting thing was that the letter itself was so amazing.
Right, it got right to the heart and soul of what the Shenanigan Brothers are all about, and I'm sure everyone's interested in that. So, we're going to read this letter for you right now.
Yes, we're going to read you the actual letter we received, and it begins in this way. Dear Les and Vic, I have been following your career very closely and believe that you have lots of potential. However, I can't help but notice a glaring omission in your comedy routines. You don't tell any jokes.
You just ramble on with these convoluted stories, but you never tell any jokes. You will never get to the top by confusing your audience. You need to tell a few jokes. After all, isn't that what comedy is all about?
And he goes on to say, don't either of you have friends or acquaintances you could make fun of? Get with it. You're falling behind. You'll never get on cable TV at this rate. You could even make fun of Republicans, and I wouldn't mind. We would understand. It would all be in good fun.
Enclosed, you will find a few of my favorite jokes. You can use as many of them as you want without compensation. Just remember me when you get really famous. Yours truly,
Lyle Fisbee, Gooferdust, Louisiana.
Goodman, Louisiana. Well, we appreciate the letter, Lyle, and we have one disappointing bit of news for you, is that we can't use any of the jokes that you sent in because it would go against the Shenanigan Brothers comedy code. And as you may know, it's one of the most stringent comedy codes in the comedy business.
And strictly enforced.
Very strictly enforced. However, for your enjoyment tonight, we did, or rather, my brother Vic did, wrote a joke.
We did wrote a joke?
You did write a joke.
Yes, I did.
You did write a joke, and we're going to perform it for you right now.
And frankly, we're really thrilled to be able to perform this joke for you.
It's the first joke we've ever told on stage.
Yes, it is. It's the Shenanigan Brothers' first joke, and it's a complex one that it requires the participation of two individuals. It was specifically planned that way, of course. And, so
now we know why comedy is so difficult.
It's a dirty job. Oh, okay, so we'll now tell the joke. Les. How are you?
Oh, hey, I'm fine. Dick, how are you doing?
You wouldn't believe how thrilled I am. I'm so happy. You see, I've just come from my publisher. I wrote a book.
Wow, you just wrote a book. What's it about?
My book is about a very large, two-dimensional white whale.
Wow, very large two-dimensional white whale. How big is it?
This two-dimensional white whale is so big that his nose touches his tail.
Wow, that's really big. A two-dimensional white whale so big that his nose touches his tail? Gosh, what's the name of it?
Mobius Dick.
Look at it.
Well, Lyle, if you're still following our career, what's left of it, maybe now you're getting the idea of why we don't write country tales. However, I would like to say that, you know, in the comedy game, when you fall down, you just by golly better get right back up again. So, you'll be happy to know that I am presently working on another joke that will be out this fall.
So, thank you once again for the letter, and we're sorry that you think we're so confusing, Lyle, but it's our very nature to be confusing and nonsensical, because we deal in confusion and nonsense. That's nonsense, no sense. And it's a very good thing that we deal in confusion and nonsense, because the story we're about to relate to you is very confusing and very nonsensical.
It's a nutty story.
Very nutty, too.
Remember, we said at the beginning that we were going over the hill. Well, we were going over the hill specifically in search of the next big thing. Because if one were to reason about this particular thing, the next big thing, where would it be? Well, if it were in plain view, that is, if everybody could see it, then it wouldn't be the next big thing, it would be a present big thing. So, in order to find one that isn't here yet, that is, one that's coming next, we had to go beyond where the eye can normally see. That is, beyond the horizon, over the hill.
That's right. We had to go beyond the horizon as far as the eye can see. You know, now people could only see so far, and we wanted to see so far. In order to do that, we deduced that we had to go, faster than everyone else, faster than the Hoy boy, faster even than ourselves. So there was only one way to do that, so we started jogging. So there we are. Right, we're jogging. We're jogging off to the hill in search of the next big thing. And we're going along at a pretty good clip, right? Right. We're feeling pretty good. And pretty soon we start to catch up to some of the old big things that aren't so big anymore. Wow, look over there. There's a quill pen.
Whoa, look, there's the passenger train.
Wow, and there's a Charlemagne.
Oh, look, there's the passenger pigeon.
Wow. Look over there. There's the Renaissance.
Yeah, and there's the New Age. Hey, look at that. It looks just like the Renaissance. Only flimsier. So, we're still going along. We know we got to go faster. We want to get past these old big things and catch up to some of the next big things. We start going a little faster. And pretty soon the old big things are fading into the distance, and we start to catch up to some of the present big things that are pretty big right about now.
Wow, look over there. There's Bon Jovi Monsters of Men.
There's MTV.
Wow, there's channeling.
There's Crystal.
Yeah, there's Pete Rose.
Hey, look, there's all over doing. Look, waves fading. I thought that was him in here.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Pete Rose.
You never see all around the Pete Rose together in the same place. I would have. Anyway, so there we are. We're going along. We're passing the present day big things, and we're heading toward the top of the hill. Beyond that hill, beyond the top of the hill, we know that's where the next big thing is. So we go a little bit faster, and a little bit faster, and a little bit faster, and pretty soon we break over the top. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, past the horizon, through the barrier, into the land of dreams and nightmares, the land of the next big thing. Well, almost. It's like, okay, we're surrounded. We see off in the distance this place where we've suddenly broken into. This huge edifice, this gigantic building that stretches out as far as the eye can see in every direction. And we're not quite there yet. All around us is this strange kind of a four-dimensional world. It didn't seem to have any space at all. It was just these lines running off in all different directions. And each one of these lines was like a filament of light. And the light was all different possible colors. And each one was humming like a little song. And it was all different possible kinds of music humming these little lines. And we ran along them this way and that. And pretty soon we realized where we were. We were in sort of an antechamber, sort of an anti-world, sort of a parlor, sort of a front room kind of thing to the land of the next big thing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we were in the land of all possible possibilities. Look, over there. There's all possible plumbing fixtures.
Wow, look over there. There's all possible holiday-related battalions.
Wow, look, there's all possible jellies
like true products. Wow. That's all possible, guys, and I think I am. Wow.
Okay, so here we are, running back and forth in this land of all possible possibilities, having the absolute time of our lives, right? Right. And all of a sudden, I find myself stuck in this one little part of it, and suddenly I start experiencing all possible thoughts.
And I started experiencing all possible emotions.
And naturally, we try to communicate with each other. Excuse me, Les.
Yes.
But, I gotta tell you what I think.
So please let me tell you how I feel.
No, I've given a lot of thought to this situation, and I analyzed how you feel. I'm prepared to give you a logical dissertation on exactly how we feel and why we feel that way.
So you say how I think you feel, or
No,
how you feel.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm having all possible thoughts, he's having all possible emotions, no way we can possibly communicate. So we decided we've got to get out of this particular place. So we run. We're running along this limbo of possibilities. And all of a sudden, we turn the corner around one of these little light buildings, and suddenly we find ourselves in this strange place. The strangest, eeriest place you ever want to be. It's like a nightmare land we stumbled into. We were prisoners in this horrible nightmare land. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the worst possible hell on earth. The land of all possible bad modern dance. I see some of you have been there. So, as you can probably tell, we are presently dancing the dance of the disturbed mover. I am doing the dance of a yam with personal problems.
And I am dancing the dance of a psychotic potato. I want to kill you.
You see the kind of problems I've got? Well, we figure if we stay here very long, there's only two possibilities. One, he'll kill me, or at least peel me a little bit. Or two, we'll die in exhaustion. So I have an idea. And I say, tell you what, Les, look, over there at that wall, there's a window. Oh, what do you say? We do the dance of the harmonious laughing honeybee and fly right through the window.
Good idea, because I'm very tired.
He concurred. So we flipped our little happy honeybee wings as hard as we could. We headed for the window. We flew to it, and we leaped. Woo! And we were there. Somehow, we made it through into the giant building, into the giant edifice. And we looked all around us in every direction. All we could see were these walls that stretched as far as the eye can see. And a floor that went off in every direction to the horizon. And everything was this strange kind of neutral color. And there was this mechanical stamping sound. Like that. And running the length of this chamber was a very large, very rumbly, very old-looking conveyor belt. And it ran along, like this. And it emptied into a big vat at one end of the room. And there was another conveyor belt that came out at a right angle. And we went down and investigated what was rolling along this old conveyor belt. And what did our eyes behold but all of the old and all of the present big things just ride right along.
Wow, look over there. There goes the slide rule.
Look, there's Buck Rogers.
Over there. Oh, there's Pet Rocks.
Wow, there was even some interesting old big thoughts on there. You know, man's the center of the universe. Hey, there it goes.
Wow, I made it before I was...
Well, I didn't get the rest of
Neither
it.
did I. There's Flemish paint.
Oh, look, there's a hula hoop.
Oh, wow.
Now, this was probably a mistake on my part to point out that there was a hula hoop riding along on this conveyor belt, because my brother was the hula hoop champion of the 6th grade in our elementary school. And he couldn't stand it. He had to see what was going to happen to this hula hoop when it fell into the vat. So he went over and he leaned over the big old vat. And all of a sudden, this nightmare thing from hell leapt out of the vat and stuck itself in my brother's face, just like the monster in the movie Alien. It was horrible. You probably can't tell what he's saying. He's saying, somebody get it off me, get it off, get it off, get it off, and you scream, stuff like that. So actually, I did the logical thing. I ran over to my brother to help him tear this thing off his face, but I saw it, and I recoiled in horror, like this. monster from the depths of Hades that I had ever seen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was a little furry Garfield with all the suction cups for feet. In that baby. So anyway, I threw it back in the bag, and we regained our composure.
Oh, he did before I did.
Yeah. So anyway, well, you got these little round things on your face, but I think they make this stuff that you use to take those marks off your windshield.
Oh, wow, that'll be the next thing to do.
Yeah, that's so look out for that when we get home. But anyway, we knew now what was going on. We knew that all the old big things and all the present-day big things were going to this vat and being recycled and coming out again as the next big things. So we quietly snuck over and took a look at what was coming out from the other side of the conveyor belt. And you wouldn't believe what we saw. Well, the first thing we saw, we recognized immediately.
Exactly.
Because all it was just a combination of some old big things that were just stuck together. It was, and will be, ladies and gentlemen, very soon, the next big religion.
That's right.
That's correct. And it's a combination of
Western,
right, Western, I gotta have it, and I'd like to lose 10 pounds more. Getting it? And Eastern mysticism, it's like a religion, you can stick those two things together. And this new religion will be called Buddha Light. You know, that's just on my personal level for a second. You know what I like about this Buddha Light?
What's that?
It's that it is so much more enlightened.
No, it's less confusing.
Excuse us. No, au contraire, mon frère. It is more enlightening.
Less confusing.
More enlightening.
Less confusing.
More forget it. We're never going to get this straight out. So anyway, frankly, we saw that. We recognized the Buddha light. But the rest of the stuff that was coming out, for the most part, we didn't recognize any of it. And we suddenly realized, well, of course not. I mean, there's something about being able to see something in its proper time and place that up until this moment we hadn't really quite understood. And that is that what makes the next big thing isn't the thing itself, it's the way people look at it. And so, you know, it wasn't time, and we didn't recognize any of it.
We're obviously in the wrong place.
Yeah, ooh, boy, is that ever true. However, we did realize one thing. You would not believe how much of this stuff there is.
Oh.
It's everywhere.
There's tons of it.
It's everywhere. And it's all the same stuff. We're just recycling all the old big things, jimmying around with the molecular structure a little bit, and cranking out some new stuff. And nobody ever asks, hey, wait a minute, nobody ever says, hey, this looks a little familiar to me, or isn't this just the same old stuff that's recycled? I mean, really, it's just the same old stuff.
And there's a good reason there's tons of this stuff, too, and that's because what?
Why? If there weren't tons of it, it wouldn't be so cheap. And if it weren't cheap, everybody couldn't afford to get one. Right. So anyway, being kind of the consumer-conscious comedians that we are, we realized we've got to go back and tell everybody it's all the same old stuff.
So I turned to my brother Vic and I said, hey, look, I'm freaking out about this stuff. I gotta go warn everybody. Ran off.
The Call Revere of comedy, ladies and gentlemen. So he ran off to warn everybody, leaving me alone. I didn't know what to do. But suddenly I realized, well, I can't let him go back into the land of all possible possibilities. I've got to go after him. He is my brother anyway. So I looked down there where he had run, and he disappeared into an archway. And over this archway there was a sign. The sign said, all possible bad B movies. And under that was a smaller sign which read, Science Fiction Division. So I knew that somewhere off there in the distance, my brother was now imprisoned inside a bad science fiction. So I followed. I followed his footsteps, and suddenly, as I was walking along towards the sign, toward the archway where he disappeared, a strange transformation began to take place. I was no longer Vic Shenanigan. No, I was becoming someone else. I was becoming Dr. Miles Walters. Dr. Miles Walters, a noted crusading scientist who, with his assistant and protege, Perkins, had been working on a scientific discovery that would benefit all of mankind. But lately, I have been hearing disturbing rumors about Perkins. I had heard that he was working in the laboratory late every night, working on experiments of his own. To benefit all of mankind, you say? No! To benefit Perkins. And I knew that I had to stop him. And as I approached the laboratory where our fateful meeting would take place, I thought of him. Perkins. Once I had called him my friend. Once I had called him my protege. Once I had even called him Perkins. But he was Perkins to me no longer. He's just plain Perkins now. As I approached the laboratory, I heard familiar footsteps on the walkway. Familiar, yes, because they were my own. As I poised to knock upon the laboratory door, it so lowly swung open, and an eerie red light emanated forth. And I saw him there, silhouetted. Perkins. I approached him across the laboratory. He turned to me, and he spoke.
I knew you would come.
Then you must also know why.
Yes, I know why, but you're too late, Miles. Nobody can stop me, not even you.
Perkins, you fool! You poor, pitiable fool! You had to know, didn't you? You couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, man?
Miles, you're a fool to think I'm a fool. Is it that foolhardy I want to know? Is it more than foolish to sit around with the blinders on? Isn't it?
Fool, foolish, foolhardy. What difference does it make now? It's all changed. You changed the entire world, Perkins. All because you had to go within you. Oh, everything was fine before. You've ruined it all. Why did I ever do it? Why did I ever introduce you to Sylvia?
Sylvia?
I should never have done it. I should never have taken you on as my protege. I should never have let you use my lab for your experiments. I should never have lent you my grant money, that's for sure. I should never have said to you, Perkins, climb every mountain. I should never have said, Perkins, tie a yellow ribbon round the old I should never have said, Perkins, King Sarah, Sarah. And I most certainly should never have said, Perky, this is Sylvia. Sylvia, this is Perkins.
I don't know any Sylvia.
Why did I do it? You've taken it all, man. You've left me with nothing. I'm dry as a husk. Dry as a corn husk in November. I'm even drier than that. I'm as dry as a basil in December. All because you've taken it all.
Miles, snap out of it, man. You're not dry. You're all wet, and you're sitting on a powder keg. This is the greatest scientific discovery of the century. Sure, you'll use your lab, and sure, you'll only your grant money, give me carte blanche on American Express, but you've never introduced me to Sylvia. Here, what I've done is taken the way man has forever looked at himself and turned it backwards. Well, it's really more forward, it's really backwards, really more inward, it's really more outward. It doesn't matter. I couldn't have done it without you. Well, at least without your financial backing. Look, you've been a friend when I didn't need one.
A friend? A friend? This is how you repay friendship? Do you realize, Perkins, that I've spent my entire scientific career devoted to one thing? Devoted to proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that a man can only help himself by going within himself. And what? You've gone too far. You went within you, but you came out the other side. You ruined me. You realize when the scientific community hears about this, I'll be the laughing stock. And all because you couldn't leave well enough alone.
No, I couldn't leave well enough alone. I couldn't leave me alone. I had to find out where I came from. And if I could find out where I came from, I could find out where I was going. Where we were going, man. It would be the next big thing in science. It would be bigger than science, all because I went with your feet.
That's just it. That's just it. Sure, you were within you, but you went too far. You've seen something no man was ever meant to see. You've seen your own future. But I'm going to put a stop to it right here and now.
Hold on, Miles. I believe you've said enough. I'm going to ask you to leave.
I haven't said quite enough yet, friends. I hope you understand I'm doing this for your own good and the good of all mankind. I know you're in you. Now get out of there, man. Come out. Come out of here before it's too late. There's no I'm mad about me. I'm mad because I used to like the world, and I don't like it that much anymore because you changed everything. But I'm going to stop you with the last thing I ever do. Damn you, man! Come out of you! Come out! Come out of me! Stop it! I know you're in there somewhere! Come out! Come out! Stop it,
It's too late for that, Miles. Too late indeed. For you see, I've gone too far. I have the knowledge now. Knowledge for my own well-being. For you see, I have the power now. I have knowledge, secret knowledge. You see? I know where I came from. I came from within me.
That's the worst movie I ever saw.
Really bad.
Wow. How did it end?
I don't know, but I'm not staying around to find out.
Me neither.
How do we get out of here?
I don't know.
Oh, there's a door.
Oh.
It's got a sign. What does it say?
It says, all possible future psychiatric clinic. Let's go.
Excellent, excellent. I have been searching for the next big breakthrough in psychotherapy, and the Shenanigan brothers have led us right to it. And now, it will be mine, mine, mine. I mean, ours. I am the last of a proud, noble profession, psychiatry. Once great herds of psychiatrists freely roamed dispensing advice and narco-pharmaceutical trusting faithful populace. Oh, those were the glory days. The days of fashionable neuroses and raging psychoses. The days when everyone said they were crazy, except those who really were. Oh, it was great. But alas, the dark days of the 21st century have brought this once great profession to its knees. Do you know what it's like to be a psychiatrist in a world where no one is crazy? They laughed at me when I studied psychiatry in school. They laughed when I chose it as my profession. But they'll laugh no longer. For I, Dr. Von Van Martain, have discovered the next big psychological disorder.
Doctor, they're returning.
Ah, our moment of glory. And now, let us psychoanalyze them. Accoutrements.
Hi.
Pencil,
Pad.
goatee.
Mr. Shenanigan. Mr. Shenanigan. My name is Dr. Van Martain, and these are my assistants. And we are here to offer you the help that you so desperately.
Well, that's great because we're kind of lost. I mean, yeah. Could you tell me where we are exactly?
Yes, of course. We're in my clinic.
Oh, and what's the date?
Why, June 10th.
Ah,
And the year?
yeah. What year?
Why, 2015.
Of course. Of course.
Now, give me a second.
How do we get the future, man? What's going on? How do we get the future? We're not in the future. No, it's like a possible future. I think. But I don't know. Don't we look a little familiar to you? I mean, remember Thor and Bruno and Earbrock, the pipe lady, singing in the scene?
Yeah. How do we get to this possible place?
I don't think we can go back where we came.
Ah.
So the only thing that occurs to me to do is to wait for a loose thread to appear. You gotta latch onto it and give it a yank and see whose trousers unravel. Okay, let's play along with it. Gee, Doc, this is really, really our lucky day. We should run into you like this because, see, my brother and I were traveling in search of the next big thing, and you're not going to believe this, but suddenly, we suddenly realized that we had traveled here in time from the 1980s.
Now, boys, I want you to take this question I'm going to ask you very seriously. Take all the time you need to answer it now. Which of you is more afflicted with this delusion?
He is.
This is even better than I thought. They're both crazy.
Or they're both sane. Or what if one of them's crazy, one of them's sane, and they're both lying. Or one of them's crazy and the other is going crazy. Or one of them's 1/3 crazy but 2/3 silly. Or
There's only one way to settle this. Skilled, precise, psychoanalytical interrogation. But in lieu of that, I'll do the questioning myself. Please excuse us for a moment, gentlemen. Have a seat, make yourselves comfortable. You look neat.
Yes, thank you, Doc. I think maybe we'll catch a short cat now.
All right, now this is our moment of destiny. If you were treating the Shenanigan brothers, how would you proceed?
Well, we don't really know that much about them, Doctor. All we really know is that they believe they traveled here in time from the 1980s.
And so?
So, we must use a psychological device from that time period to bring them gradually into the 21st century.
And why must we do that?
So that they might become more productive members of society.
So that they might learn to live one day at a time.
So that they might repress their delusions to the point of being very nervous instead of insane.
Indeed. So that they might get a small, drab apartment and a menial job sweeping up at the Wiener factory.
And a little cottage job named Doctor.
No! So that we might enhance our reputations. So that we might write a long article in an extremely boring publication. We might understand the workings of our own minds by studying someone else's. Now think, what 20th century psychological device might we employ?
Hypnosis.
Jungian dream analysis.
The rack.
You're stalled.
That's
Good
right. I got it.
Let's invade their personal space.
Yes, that just might work. You'd best leave me alone with them.
Certainly, Dr. Van Martine.
Yes. Invade their personal space. Now, Les, you don't mind if I call you Les, do you?
Oh, actually, Doc, I do mind.
Oh, good. Is it perhaps from some trauma in your early childhood?
No.
Or did your mother spank you while calling you Les?
No, it's...
Or is it perhaps that Les implies not more?
No, that's not it.
I can see I must delve much deeper. Now, Les, I want you to dig down deep into that scarred and pitted psyche right there. I want you to pull up all of those hidden motivations, and I want you to tell me, man to man, why you object so violently to calling you Les.
Because, Doc, my name is Big.
Good. Boy, can you see what's going on here? We're keeping those lines of communication open between the doctor and the patient. This is excellent. Now, you boys say that you were traveling in time in search of the next big thing, right?
No, you probably don't even believe we actually travel in time.
Oh, now, Les. If you tell me that you travel in time, why should I possibly doubt you?
So, you want to know what it's like? You want to know what it's like to travel in time, huh? Well, we'll tell you what it's like to travel in time. Yeah, we'll tell you what it's like to travel in time.
I will. You might want to write this down, Doc. Okay. Okay, you probably never saw, okay, did you ever see the old TV show Time Tunnel? No, you probably never saw it.
Yeah.
There was this big underground cavern.
And basic computers.
Yeah, everywhere, computers everywhere. And there was Lee Merriweather, this long lab coat hair, and his face hard.
His hair, and you know, the guy.
Yeah, Earl Scheib did his hair. And there was this big tunnel in the wall of the cave. This huge opening, and it snaked off into distance in this kind of weird spiral type thing. There was two guys, time travelers, walk into the tunnel, right? Turn on the water. Yeah, and you lose all sense of gravity. And you slide right down. And these bells, what's the Wi-Fi? Go back, come here. Come on, get it up. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Now, boys, humor has its therapeutic value. I really don't need to know what it's not like. I need to know what it's like.
Well, let's see. Yeah, it's well, it's really, well, it's not really like anything. It's more like nothing. More like nothing than it is anything. What do you think?
Nothing.
Nothing. Now that tells me something.
What does nothing?
It tells me that you are trying to avoid actually telling me anything. But being the trained observer I am, I realize that by telling me nothing, you tell me more than if you'd actually told me something.
I thought you said we told you something.
No. Now listen. I did not say that you told me something. Merely that I got something out of what you told me. Wow, Doc.
Really something?
It was nothing. Now, where were we?
We were discussing the delusion.
Yes, your delusion.
Or what we think might be it.
Right. You know, you see, we're thinking that we're somewhere other than where we started out.
However, that does not necessarily mean that we are in the future, as you may think you know.
Right. Either you're some entity from our future, which is not very possible, or you're part of some highly improbable dream we're having.
Oh, excellent, excellent! You boys have reached the first stage in your recovery. Denial! Denying your delusion.
No. We're denying your reality.
Oh, that's the second stage. Hey, boy! This analysis stuff is so much easier than I was led to believe it would be. This is real sharing, guys.
You're not getting the point.
Yeah, Doc, I think what my brother's trying to tell you, please don't take this personally, but he and I are, as far as we're concerned, you are practically nothing.
Now, boys, let's not get off the track here. Let's not get off the track here. I can see it. We're on the verge of a major break-up. I can see it now. There'll be a miniseries about this. The 14 Faces of Vic and Les, starring Dr. Von Van Martijn and his two lovely assistants.
Yeah, we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Yeah, very major breakthrough. A huge breakthrough.
Super breakthrough.
Dynamic breakthrough. Only thing is you're not in it.
What? That's right. No, you're not going to be in the breakthrough. Let's see now. How can we do this? Well, all right, I got an idea. What would you say if I could prove to you, we could prove to you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are not who you think you are? This place isn't where you think it is, and this time isn't when you think it is. We can prove it.
You're saying that you can change both me and my surroundings just like that?
Yes, like that. Quite simple.
Okay, boys, we have a little time left on the session. Have at it. Okay.
This won't hurt a bit, Doc. What we want to do is we are going to alter the molecular structure. And there's only one way to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Move the furniture.
Let's see. You stay over there. Now, while my brother is moving the furniture, there's a couple things that this is a good time to point out. One, okay, now remember we said at the beginning, this is the story of an idea, of a moment that happened, just this like split second. All this stuff that happened in a split second. Okay, you're probably wondering exactly where we are within that moment. Well, we're at the place where I said, hey Les, I just had an idea. He said, what? We're right in between there. And one other thing. There's one thing that we realized when we were back there in the big chamber of the next big thing that we neglected to point out at the time. That is that we had some amazing discovery when we were there. And that is that there's so much of this stuff, right? And it's so cheap and so accessible. And we reasoned that, therefore, the scarcity of a thing determines its value. Everybody knows that. The less there is of something, the more it's worth. And we suddenly realized that if that were true, that the really, really valuable stuff must not exist at all. Very minor point. Okay, Doc, we have one last thing we need you to do. We need you to read that right there.
Hear ye!
No. Read it like you mean it.
Hear ye! All rise for the hardest working judge in show biz, the Honorable Hazel Cha-Cha Beadle!
Hey!
But Your Honor, I haven't read the charges yet.
Well, then read them, man. We haven't got all day.
In the case of most of the people versus a couple of people that the defendants do willfully with malice forth over girls who have to thought Sally forth on a frolic on their own wrecking habit committing.
I'm guilty as charged. Proceed with the opening arguments.
Your Honor, I haven't finished reading the charges yet.
One more outburst out of you, young man, and I'll find you in contempt.
But Your Honor, I'm the bailiff and the jury.
And I'm the Queen of England. Is the prosecuting attorney here?
Oh, right here, Your Honor. I'm here.
Would you like to make an opening statement?
I certainly would. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there's really one reason and one reason only to find the defendants guilty, and that is they are obviously guilty. I mean, just look at them. Not to mention the fact that we have in our possession at this moment A signed confession, B, photographs of them at the scene of the crime, C, detailed videotape of them committing the heinous acts, and D, last but certainly not least, the testimony of their own mother, who has turned state's witness. So, the people ask that you, the jury, observe the trial for yourselves and decide for yourselves that the defendants are guilty. Thank you.
Is the attorney for the defense here?
Yes,
Would you like to make an opening statement?
I will. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, basically, I have nothing to add to that brilliant opening argument by my colleague, the prosecuting attorney. Come on, let's give her a hand. Wasn't she great?
Well done! Well done!
Is that it? Guilty as charged.
Your Honor, may we approach the bench?
Well, if you don't sneak up on me.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. My brother and I just now realized that we are, in fact, the defendants in these proceedings, and so we're a little bit behind. But it seems to me now, I'm not an experienced person in this kind of court of law type of thing, but it seems to me that if you keep shouting out, that we're guilty, like you've been doing, all through the trial in this whimsical and capricious manner, that sooner or later it will have a prejudicial effect on the jury. Here, here.
Your Honor, as foreman of the jury, I think I can clear this up. We feel that you have in no way had a prejudicial effect upon us because actually on the bus here this morning from the motel, we prejudged the defendant guilty as charged.
See? And as for you, young man, just hold your horses. This is a court of law. We do things by the book here. So what if you've already found them guilty? Anybody could do that. Now the work really begins. The long, arduous process of determining what they're guilty of.
I confess! I confess! I confess! I did it! I did it! I'm guilty! I'm guilty! I killed them! To be
3B. Where were we? Bailiff?
Guilty, guilty, guilty. I did it, I did it, I did it. I confess, I confess, I confess. I killed.
I'm not marrying after murder, too. But it's my only copy.
Your Honor, if I had known this, if I had seen this, I never would have even taken this case.
Your Honor.
Not holding you responsible.
Your Honor, maybe interject something here.
Yes, we didn't kill anybody, and we want to know, where's the justice in this courtroom?
Justice! So you boys are interested in justice, too. I'll have to drop by the prison one day. We'll have lunch together and discuss it. Oh, no. When I was in law school, my fellow students and I would discuss justice continually. Where was it? Who had it? If it was right in front of us, would we even recognize it? We wondered, if justice was blind, why did she wear that crummy rag on her face? For nights on end, we would debate justice and lose. You know, men and women of all times have discussed justice since the dawn of time, or somewhere around midday. That was a caveman returned to his cave after a grueling hunt, only to find his precious firewood had been stolen by a passing scoundrel. He looked here, he looked there, he looked all over the damn place, couldn't find it anywhere. What did he do? He demanded justice. So he hired an attorney. But I digress. What was the question? Bailiff, what was the question?
Where is justice in this courtroom?
Excellent question. Did you bring it? Is it from here? No, of course not. Because of the very tenuous nature of justice itself. The continual balancing of one conflicting claim against another with no satisfying resolution possible. When, after all, do the scales balance? When they're empty. Do you know that after this case, I'll have another one, and then another one, and another one still, and both parties will want what? Justice! On and on and on, it never ends. In response to your query, where is the justice in this courtroom? There isn't any. We're not here to dispense justice. We're here to find you two clowns guilty, and if you don't stop interrupting us, we'll never get out of here.
Your Honor, we request a change of venue.
Out of order.
Your Honor, we request a new attorney.
That was a question.
Your Honor, we move for dismissal.
Outlandish.
Your Honor, we object.
Sustained.
Thank you. Oh, and Your Honor, we request that you instruct the bailiff to read at least one of the charges.
Yes.
Bailiff, read one of the short ones.
That the defendant did honor around or about at a certain point in time to willfully and frictionally leave said point in time for another point in time, search the next victim without asking permission.
You've heard the charges. What do you have to say for yourselves?
Your Honor, all we have to say for ourselves is that we ourselves are beginning to have some serious doubts about the very existence of this courtroom.
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. The reality of this courtroom is not in question. Sustained.
Oh, Your Honor, could you cite an authority for that opinion, please?
Myth versus reality. United States Supreme Court, June 9, 1989, where it was held that the illusionary nature of existence does not undermine its sense of realness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, indeed. And now, if I may, I'd like to ask the witness a question.
You may proceed. Call the last witness.
The last witness!
Now remember, you've already been sworn in. Now, in your previous statement,
Objection,
you
Your
have
Honor. Objection. Now the witness has made no previous statements.
overruled it was before you got here.
Oh, Your Honor, could you cite an authority for that?
Jones versus his own imagination. Jones lost. United States Supreme Court, June 10, 1989, where it was held that all memories may later be altered in the use against oneself if if you're the sort, or against others, if you're that sort.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, before I was interrupted, I was asking you a question. In your previous statement, you claimed you personally witnessed the defendants at the scene of the crime. Is this true?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions?
Will the defense cross-examine?
Yes, we will. Now, you say you saw the defendants at the scene of the crime, but how far away were you at the time?
Gosh, couldn't have been more than 3 miles or so.
3 miles?
Yes, ma'am. But it was them, all right.
Was? Oh. Well, in that case, were you wearing your eyeglasses at the time?
My eyeglasses? No, ma'am. I was asleep at the time. I'll never forget their faces. Oh, they were just so still out of nightmares about it.
Oh, you poor man. You may have a very good civil case. There. Do you think you can continue?
I'll try.
Did you get it all out of your system? Good, good, good. Now, I have just a couple more questions to ask you, but they're very important. All right? Are the 2 men that you saw anywhere in this courtroom?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Now, think carefully. Think very, very carefully. And remember, 2 lives hang in the balance. Will you now point out the 2 men that you saw?
Here they are. You're the one. You can run, but you can't hide.
Let the record show that witnesses pointed to my client! In the light of startling development, we have no choice but to throw ourselves in the mercy of the court and change our plea to guilty.
I can't blame you one bit. You're excused. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a decision?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Is it regarding this case?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Well, what is it?
Well, Your Honor, I'm afraid that I am hopelessly deadlocked.
Good enough for me. Guilty. Didn't you have anything to say before sentencing?
Yes, we do, Your Honor. We would like to point out to Your Honor and the rest of the court that I'm Vic and I'm Les, and we're the Shenanigan brothers, and we're about to do time for a crime we did not commit.
I know what everybody's thinking. Anybody that's just about to go to jail is going to say they're innocent. We're not saying that. I mean, we're guilty, all right.
Yeah! Boy, howdy are we guilty. We're extremely guilty. We're very guilty. We couldn't be more guilty. However, we dispute whether what we did is actually a crime. And we were hoping that there would be someone out there among you tonight who would understand.
So we're going to throw ourselves on the theater in public.
No, we're going to throw ourselves on the mercy of the theater going public. It's 2 completely different things altogether. Mercy.
Wow, I almost made a horrible blunder.
Yes,
Jumped, leapfrogged, and triple jumped into the second
You
row.
almost did there. There would have been a serious theatrical faux pas. Why, heaven, I caught you in time. But you're probably asking yourselves, these fellows look pretty harmless. Why are they about to do time?
What was this horrible crime? What was this terrible spree? What was this hideous boo-boo?
What was this monumental transgression which caused the world to shake on its axis like a shepherd's boy with wolf sorter's disease?
We had an idea. Or more to the point, my brother Vic had an idea, and I kind of went along for the ride.
Yes, and a very bumpy ride it turned out to be, but you know, I couldn't have had that idea. And the funny thing about this whole idea thing was that, you know, if even the slightest thing about this idea had been different, the whole thing would have been
Right, the most minuscule change would have set it off at a 90-degree angle.
the tiniest alteration. Like, okay, for example, how did it all begin? Do you remember how it began?
It was a room, it had pipes, there was condensation.
Oh, yeah, it was a boxy little room. Oh, it had no windows.
Right, no windows.
And there was a little table. Right, a little table right in the middle of the room. It looked very much like this table right here. In fact, I think this is this very same table. Oh, and there were these 2 guys. There were these 2 guys who were seated at the table, right?
Right.
And they were kind of slumped over.
Right, and it was pitch black. And suddenly a single shaft of light shattered the darkness.
Okay, boys. Let's go through it one more time. What is the next big thing?
Oh, the next big thing. Look, I am sick and tired of talking about the next big thing.
We told the guys upstairs what the next big thing is. We've already told you at least 100 times what the next big thing
Oh,
is.
no. You told the boys upstairs some crack and roll story, but you haven't told anybody what the next big thing is. We paid you to find it, and we want it now.
Oh, look at your hair.
Oh, it's right here.
How many times do we have to tell you?
Until you get it right.
It doesn't matter where you look, who you stand. The irony of the situation is that it is right here.
This.
Yes!